Welcome to the 2010 Candidate Forums featuring elections for local, state, and congressional offices, recorded live from the B.W. Simpkins Center at BCC's Cocoa campus. These forums are made possible through a partnership between Brevard Community College, Florida Today, the League of Women Voters, and the Space Coast Tiger Bay Club. And now, tonight's forum.
Good evening and welcome to this, the fifth in a series of candidate forums here in the B.W. Simpkins Fine Arts Auditorium at Brevard Community College's Cocoa campus. I'm J.B. Comp, President-elect of Tiger Bay Club, and we're in partnership with BCC, Florida Today, and the Space Coast League of Women Voters to bring you these informative discussions. Tonight we'll be featuring the three candidates for District 24 Florida State Senate. And before I introduce you to the candidates, let me explain the format for tonight's forum. There'll be a 2-minute opening statement by all three of our candidates, followed by questions from the audience, the live studio audience here in the B.W. Simpkins Auditorium. I'll direct those on a rotating basis to each of the candidates. They'll have a minute to respond to those questions and an optional 30-second rebuttal opportunity. Following the final candidate response, the candidates will be given a 1-minute closing statement opportunity. Thank you. Now we're going back to Thad Altman for this question. 1-minute responses. Where do you stand on capping homeowner insurance premiums?
Well, I think if across-the-board cap would be government intrusion into the free market, and I fear that if we had hard caps, then more companies may pull out of the state, and we would not have insurance coverage, and thereby growing a state-run insurance program that should be cut and eventually eliminated. I believe market approaches are the best solution to these type of things. What we need to do is to continue to enforce good building codes, reduce the risk. We need to create an environment where we can bring more companies to write insurance. We need more competition in the market. Caps would probably have the opposite effect. Limiting competition would be a big government program, and we know that that doesn't work in a free market economy.
I am absolutely for the free market. I'm absolutely against government intrusion into business of any kind. It has to happen from time to time. I recognize that. In the case of homeowners insurance, we have a problem in the state of Florida where we have the state in the insurance business. And it may be interesting to note that Thad Altman said that we have a AAA bond rating, but if we have one more hurricane of a major scale this year, our state will be wiped out. And we don't have third-party insurance companies locating in the state, and that's because the free market can't justify coming into this state. What we need to understand is that this state is prone to hurricanes, and we have to be willing to recognize that the free market may require that our premiums be higher than they are today. And as a result, if we want to have the state out of the insurance business, we need to be willing to accept uncapped insurance premiums.
It's interesting that free market was mentioned in the same context as the insurance business. It's one of the most regulated businesses in the state, although not always for your best interests. And that's kind of where we need to take a focus and look at. We do need to open it back up to the market, and we do need to allow several other carriers and providers to move into the state. Unfortunately, the regulations and the manipulation of the market that has occurred through legislation simply is not going to allow that. I'm not convinced that insurance caps is the solution. I am convinced that we are paying outrageous premiums. I would like to find a more broad-based community solution that included more input other than just the insurance industry and the government.
Thad, you have the first option of the 30-second rebuttal.
Thank you. One point I'd like to make, too, that we need to do here in Florida is broaden the pool. You know, about 80% of the wealth in this state is generated by our coastal regions and communities in the peninsula of Florida. And the rest of the state prospers as a result of that. The sales tax revenue, the corporate tax revenue, property tax revenues. But yet when they create pools for insurance coverage, they want to be excluded and pay lower rates. If we broaden this pool statewide, a one Florida insurance pool, it would lower the rates for us in the coastal region who are shouldering so much of the state's economic needs.
I was at a meet and greet recently and had the opportunity to meet with an individual that had just come from a meeting of executives of insurance companies. And because he is domiciled here in Florida, he asked the question, why don't they come to Florida? And the response that was given was less on the rates and more on the fact that our legislature keeps changing the rules every 3 years, and as a result, they have no ability to plan as to what their risk will be in this state.
We simply have to get back to common sense, and we simply have to provide the opportunities for business to be able to operate at reasonable levels. The regulation and legislation that's been involved with the insurance company industry has been very lopsided and very helpful to some and not to others. Again, we need to look at the root of the problem as opposed to just trying to put a Band-Aid on it.